Welcome to the St. Olaves/Newstead Homework 7 walkthrough. Today, we're going to go through the questions together, step by step. Let's get started. Question 1 asks, in line 3, what does the phrase, "a blinding beauty," emphasize about the snow-capped peaks? The phrase suggests that the peaks are so bright and stunning that they almost blind you. This means they are very bright and breathtaking to look at. Blinding beauty cannot mean dull, because dull is the opposite of bright. It also doesn't mean treacherous, monotonous, or dangerous, because the focus is on how stunning the peaks are. The correct answer is their stunning brightness. Question 2 asks, in line 5, what does the phrase "silence screamed in his ear" suggest about the atmosphere in the passage? This phrase means that the silence is so intense that it feels loud, creating an unsettling feeling. It cannot mean noisy, because silence is the opposite of noisy. It also isn't peaceful, filled with whispers, or melodic, because the description emphasizes the eeriness of the silence. The correct answer is it was eerie and unsettling. Question 3 is, what literary device is used in the phrase, "the stillness of the scenery was profound, almost deafening"? This is an exaggeration because stillness cannot actually deafen someone. Exaggeration is called hyperbole. It's not an oxymoron because the words aren't opposites. It isn't alliteration because there's no repetition of consonant sounds. It's not a simile because it doesn't use like or as. Lastly, it's not personification because nothing is being given human qualities here. The correct answer is hyperbole. Question 4 asks, what does the phrase "the mountain itself held its breath" convey about the mountain? This phrase suggests that the mountain is so still and silent that it feels like it is holding its breath. It's not exhaling, because holding breath is the opposite. It isn't about being inhospitable or eagerly waiting, because the focus is on stillness. While personification is used, the phrase highlights the silence, not the idea of the mountain being alive. The correct answer is it was eerily silent and unmoving. Question 5 asks, what does the trekker marvel at in the passage? The trekker is amazed by the sheer scale and magnificence of the natural world. The passage describes how the vastness of the landscape makes him feel like a small part of it. It's not about familiarity, because the landscape feels overwhelming, not familiar. It isn't about silence, snow, or wildlife, because the marvel is directed at the grandeur. The correct answer is the grandeur of the natural world. Question 6 asks, what is the main reason for the trekker's frustration? The passage explains that solitude and isolation are causing doubt to creep into his mind. While the cold and terrain are challenges, they are not the main source of his frustration. There's no mention of equipment or cliffs being the issue, so those can also be ruled out. The correct answer is the solitude and isolation. Question 7 asks, in line 14, what does "under the shadow" mean in the passage? The phrase symbolizes the doubt creeping into the trekker's mind. It represents a mental state, not a physical shadow or a refuge from the cold. The correct answer is it signifies the character's mental state of feeling overwhelmed by doubt and uncertainty. Question 8 asks, which word can replace ethereal in line 20? Ethereal means delicate, light, or heavenly. Transcendent is the best match because it means extraordinary or beyond normal limits. It's not mysterious, ephemeral, luminous, or elusive, because these meanings don't fully match the delicate and heavenly nature of ethereal. The correct answer is transcendent. Question 9 asks, which language device is not used in the passage? There are no examples of onomatopoeia, which are words like buzz or bang. All the other devices, similes, metaphors, alliteration, and hyperbole, are present. The correct answer is onomatopoeia. Question 10 asks, what type of alliteration is slowly but surely? The repeated S sound is an example of consonance alliteration because it repeats a consonant sound. It isn't assonance because that involves vowel sounds. The other options are either incorrect terms or don't match the description. The correct answer is consonant alliteration. Question 11 asks, what two types of words are worn in time worn? The word worn functions as an adjective because it describes something affected by time. It also comes from the verb wear in its past participle form worn. So yes, the correct answers are adjective and verb. Question 12 asks, which two words are spelled differently in American English? Grey is spelled grey in American English, and towards is spelled towardy. Grey and towards. Let's move on to the maths questions, starting with question 13. Question 13 asks, a map has a scale of 1 centimetre to 3 miles. On the map, the distance between two towns is 7 centimetres. What is the actual distance between the two towns? Include units in your answer. Okay, so if 1 centimetre equals 3 miles, then we need to multiply the 7 centimetres on the map by 3 to find the actual distance. 7 times 3 is 21, so the actual distance is 21 miles. Let's pause here to make sure you understand. 1 centimetre equals 3 miles, so for every centimetre on the map, we add 3 miles in real life. 7 centimetres means 7 groups of 3 miles, which is 21 miles. The answer is 21 miles. Now, question 14 asks, a map has a scale of 1 centimetre represents 2 kilometres. Write this scale as a ratio in its simplest form. To write a scale as a ratio, we need to put the numbers into the format 1 : something. 1 centimetre represents 2 kilometres, so the ratio is 1 : 2. There's no way to simplify this further because the numbers are already as small as they can go. The answer is 1 to 2, or written as 1 : 2. Moving on to question 15. What is the actual length of a road measuring 5.5 centimetres on the map? The scale isn't given here, but let's assume the scale is 1 centimetre equals 2 kilometres, like the previous question. If 1 centimetre equals 2 kilometres, then we multiply 5.5 by 2. 5.5 times 2 is 11, so the actual length of the road is 11 kilometres. Let's pause to go over that again. Each centimetre on the map is worth 2 kilometres in real life. For 5.5 centimetres, we just double it to get 11. The answer is 11 kilometres. Next, question 16 asks us to complete the table with sensible metric units. Let's take each row one at a time. The height of a door. A door is typically measured in metres, so the sensible unit here is metres. The weight of a mouse. A mouse is quite light, so we would measure its weight in grams. The volume of water in a kettle. Water in a kettle is usually measured in litres. Let's pause to make sure this is clear. Doors are measured in metres because they are relatively tall. A mouse is measured in grams because it is very light. Water is measured in litres because that's a common unit for liquids. Now, question 17 asks, convert 3 metres into centimetres. To convert metres to centimetres, we multiply by 100 because there are 100 centimetres in 1 metre. 3 times 100 is 300. The answer is 300 centimetres. Question 18 asks, convert 8 kilometres into metres. To convert kilometres into metres, we multiply by 1000 because there are 1000 metres in a kilometre. 8 times 1000 is 8000. The answer is 8000 metres. Next, question 19 asks, convert 350 centimetres into metres. To convert centimetres into metres, we divide by 100 because there are 100 centimetres in a metre. 350 divided by 100 is 3.5. The answer is 3.5 metres. For question 20, convert 200 millimetres into centimetres. To convert millimetres into centimetres, we divide by 10 because there are 10 millimetres in 1 centimetre. 200 divided by 10 is 20. The answer is 20 centimetres. Question 21 asks, a map has a scale of 1 centimetre represents 50 metres. Put a circle around the ratio, which is equivalent to this. 1 centimetre represents 50 metres, so the ratio is 1 to 50. The answer is 1 to 50, or written as 1 : 50. 22 asks, the distance between two shops on the map is 4.5 centimetres. What is the actual distance between the shops? Using the scale of 1 centimetre equals 50 metres, we multiply 4.5 by 50. 4.5 times 50 is 225. The actual distance is 225 metres. Question 23 asks, a bucket weighs 800 grams. When half filled with water, the bucket weighs 4.5 kilograms. Work out the weight when the bucket is filled with water. First, let's subtract the weight of the empty bucket from the half-filled bucket. 4.5 kilograms minus 0.8 kilograms is 3.7 kilograms. This is the weight of half the water. To find the weight of all the water, we double this amount. 3.7 times 2 is 7.4 kilograms. Finally, we add the weight of the empty bucket. 7.4 0.5 kilograms. The distance between two shops on the map is 4.5 centimeters. What is the actual distance between the shops? Using the scale of 1 centimeter equals 50 meters, we multiply 4.5 by 50. 4.5 times 50 is 225. The actual distance is 225 meters. Question 23 asks, a bucket weighs 800 grams. When half filled with water, the bucket weighs 4.5 kilograms. Work out the weight when the bucket is filled with water. First, let's subtract the weight of the empty bucket from the half-filled bucket. 4.5 kilograms minus 0.8 kilograms is 3.7 kilograms. This is the weight of half the water. To find the weight of all the water, we double this amount. 3.7 times 2 is 7.4 kilograms. Finally, we add the weight of the empty bucket. 7.4 plus 0.8 is 8.2. The answer is 8.2 kilograms. For question 24, let's complete the sentences with the correct metric units. The distance between two towns is about 9 kilometers. The capacity of a small glass is about 250 milliliters. The weight of an apple is about 120 grams. The capacity of a bottle of fizzy drink is 2 liters. Finally, question 25 asks, a map has a scale of 1 to 4,000. On the map, the distance between two houses is 9 centimeters. What is the actual distance between the houses? Give your answer in meters. Using the scale, 1 centimeter equals 4,000 centimeters. So, 9 centimeters on the map equals 9 times 4,000 centimeters. 9 times 4,000 is 36,000 centimeters. To convert this into meters, we divide by 100. 36,000 divided by 100 is 360. The actual distance is 360 meters. Question 26 asks, a girl stands on a set of scales. What is the girl's weight? Looking at the scale, the arrow points to 35 kilograms. The answer is 35 kilograms. For question 27, convert your answer into grams. To convert kilograms into grams, we multiply by 1,000 because there are 1,000 grams in a kilogram. 35 times 1,000 is 35,000. The answer is 35,000 grams. Question 28 asks, in the sentence, he wore his RLPPUE jacket. The letters and capitals are an anagram of the word that fits in the blank. Which statement is true about the word? Let's solve the anagram. Rearranging the letters RLPPUE gives us the word purple. Now let's look at the options. Option A says the word starts with the letter R. That's not correct because purple starts with P, not R. Option B says the word starts with L. Again, that's wrong because there is no L at the start of purple. Option C says the word starts with P. That's correct because purple does begin with P. Option D says the word starts with U. This doesn't work because U is not the first letter of purple. Option E says the word starts with E. That's incorrect because purple doesn't begin with E either. The correct answer is option C. The word starts with the letter P. Question 29 asks, which of the words from the following list are homophones? The words are sea, sight, sight, might. Homophones are words that sound the same but have different meanings and spellings. First, we know that sight and sight are homophones. They sound the same but refer to different things. Sight is related to seeing, and sight is a location. Sight also sounds like these, as it refers to quoting or referencing something. So all three, sight, sight, and sight, are homophones. Now let's check the options. Option A says sight and sight only. This is partially correct but misses sight. Option B says sighty, sight, and sight only. This is correct because all three are homophones. Option C says sighty, sight, sight, and might. This is wrong because might doesn't sound like any of the other words. Option D says might and sight only. This is incorrect because might isn't a homophone with the others. Option E says sighty and sight only. This is not enough because sight is also a homophone. The correct answer is option B, sight, sight, and sight only. Question 30 asks, find the two statements that prove Emily attends acrobatic classes. Let's examine the statements one by one. Statement 1 says Emily's school teaches gymnastics and acrobatics. While this tells us her school offers these classes, it doesn't confirm Emily attends them. Statement 2 says Laura has acrobatic lessons with Jeremy. This doesn't mention Emily at all, so it doesn't help. Statement 3 says Emily's friend Jeremy attends gymnastics and acrobatics. This is important because Jeremy attends acrobatics. Statement 4 says Jeremy and Emily are in the same classes. If Emily is in Jeremy's classes and Jeremy attends acrobatics, Emily must also attend acrobatics. Statement 5 says Jeremy's sister Laura attends gymnastics classes with Emily. This talks about gymnastics, not acrobatics, so it's not relevant. The two statements we need are 3 and 4 because they prove Emily attends acrobatics. The correct answer is option A, 3 and 4. Question 31 asks, which word in the sentence, Simon hid the present under the bag, is a preposition? A preposition shows the relationship between two things, such as location or time. Here, the word under shows the position of the bag in relation to the present. Now let's rule out the other options. Option A says Simon. That's a name, not a preposition. Option B says the. This is an article, not a preposition. Option C says hid. This is a verb, not a preposition. A says under. This is correct because it's a preposition. Option E says none of the above. This is wrong because under is clearly a preposition. The correct answer is option D, under. Question 32 asks, which pair of words is the odd one out? The options are tall and taller, quick and quicker, white and whiter, slimy and slimier. Photograph and photographer. The first 4 pairs show comparisons. For example, tall becomes taller and quick becomes quicker. But photograph and photographer are different because they're nouns. Photograph refers to a picture and photographer refers to a person who takes pictures. They're not adjectives or comparisons. The other options all follow the same adjective to comparison pattern. The correct answer is option E, photograph and photographer. Question 33 asks, which of the following words are homophones? The words are taught, tout, court, and port. Homophones sound the same but have different meanings and spellings. Let's go through them. Taught and taille sound similar, so they are homophones. Court and port don't sound the same as any of the others. Let's check the options. Option A says taught and tout. This is correct. Option B says towert and court. This is wrong because court and towert do not sound the same. Option C says court and port. This is incorrect because these words don't sound alike. Option D says port and taught. This is also wrong because they sound different. Option E says none of the above. This is incorrect because taught and taught are homophones. The correct answer is option A, taught and toit. Question 34 asks, my favourite fruit is the P-A-H-C-E. Which statement is true? Rearranging the letters, P-A-H-C-E gives us P-E-A-C-H. Let's check the options. Option A says the word ends with the letter P. This is wrong because peach ends with H. Option B says the word starts with the letter A. This is incorrect because peach starts with P. Option C says the middle letter of the word is A. This is correct because A is in the middle of peach. Gian's option D says the word starts with the letter C. This is wrong because peach starts with P. Option E says the word ends with the letter E. This is incorrect because peach ends with H. The correct answer is option C. The middle letter of the word is A. Question 35 asks, who's closest to their home after the journey? Let's break this down step by step. Sue-Ann drives 2 kilometers east, so her home is 2 kilometers west of her starting point. From there, the group travels back and forth. After all the driving, they end up 9 kilometers south of where they began. The only person close to their original position is Sue-Ann. The correct answer is option A, Sue-Ann. And question 36 asks, arrange the names of the digits 0 to 5 in order. How many adjacent pairs of names are in ascending order of length? The names are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When arranged by length, from 2, 1, 4, 5, 3, 0. The adjacent pairs in ascending length are 2 and 1, 1 and 4, 4 and 5. That's 3 pairs. The correct answer is option D, exactly 3 pairs. Question 37 asks, how many of the words off? The words are do, bow, though, tough, and off. Let's test them. Cough rhymes with tough and off. Do, bow, and though do not rhyme with cough. The correct answer is option E, 2. Question 38 asks, look at the prefixes peta, tera, and geiger. Which comes next? These are metric prefixes. After giga comes mega, which represents a smaller unit. The correct answer is option B, mega. Question 39 asks, what type of words are madam, bob, level, and deed? All these words are the same forwards and backwards. That makes them palindromes. Option A says nouns. While these are nouns, that's not the specific quality we're looking for. Option B says verbs. None of these are verbs. Option C says palindromes. This is correct because all these words are palindromes. Option D says adjectives. None of these are adjectives. Option E says prepositions. None of these are prepositions. The correct answer is option C, palindromes.
So now we're going to be going through the answers to the MBR section of the homework. So for this first question, in this grid, this line here is like a mirror line. As you can see, the arrows are both in this bottom corner, because the shape's been reflected, and this curved end are on opposite sides. So here you'd expect this will also be a mirror line then. This curved line will be here like that, and the arrow will be in the corner pointing up like that. So the answer is D. We've got this bit here and the arrow there. And then on to the next question. So in this one, you've got a triangle and it stays a triangle. So this circle will remain a circle. The rectangle inside becomes a triangle. So this rectangle will become a triangle. The rectangle is striped. And it remains striped. The rectangle here is grey. So the triangle will remain grey. So we can already rule out D because that's got a striped triangle. Then we've got this square in the corner that's grey and it remains grey. Here we've got a square that is striped, so it will remain striped. We've got this circle that's got a plus sign inside, which then becomes a cross because it's rotated. 90 degrees, so this one will also rotate 90 degrees and will end up looking like the plus sign. So the answer to this one is A. We've got this striped square, the grey triangle, and this circle. So the answer is A. This question, we're gonna just continue the shape. So we're gonna have a line there like that. We're gonna have a circle here like that. A square here like that. And an arrow like that. So now we've got to determine which direction the lines will be in each part of the shape. So let's start with the circle. So in the circle, the lines are all diagonal. So here they're going to look like that. We can start ruling out some options. So we can rule out A, because here the lines are vertical when they should be diagonal. Then the square remains white. Then the two triangles next to this white bit. So here they're vertical, and then here they become horizontal, so they change on the opposite side of the grid. So here they were horizontal, so that means now they'll become vertical. So we can rule out B because here they stay horizontal, and we can rule out C for the same reason. Now we've got to decide on the other triangle section. So here they were vertical and then they became horizontal. So here they're horizontal, so they'll become vertical like that. So the answer is E. We've got vertical and diagonal there. Next question. So in this one, for this one, what I'm going to do is go around the grid and see what changes as you go around the grid in this direction, instead of looking for reflections or anything like that. So as you can see, this grid bit here in the corner moves round the box clockwise. So as you can see, it starts here in this corner, then it moves to this corner, and then it ends up in this corner. So in the box with the question mark, that grid thing is going to be in the top corner here. So we can rule out D because that's in the wrong corner. Now let's look at some of the other shapes. So this shape moves round the square anti-clockwise. It moves there and then here. So that shape in the question mark box is going to end up being here in this corner. So we can rule out C because it's in the wrong corner. Now we've got to figure out the difference between A and B. So what's different about A and B is the actual spiral pattern. As you can see here, it starts at the top and then here it starts at the bottom. So as you can see, this shape is also rotating. It's rotating anti-clockwise. As you can see, the start of it is here, then it's here, and then it's here. So in this box here, you could expect it to be at the bottom of the shape, and then it spirals like that instead of starting at the top. So that's why the answer is B, because it starts at the bottom. In A, it starts at the top. So the answer is B for this question. We're on to the next question. So here we've just got some patterns, so let's try and figure out. So as you can, let's start here. So here we've got this shape and then it stays the same here. So I'm assuming this bottom bit will also be the same, like that. So we can rule out A because it's going in the wrong direction. It should, because as you can see, this line here is this line, so it should be coming to the right, not the left. So we can rule out A. Then we're going to have that. We're going to have a circle, but we don't know what the circle's going to be yet. We're going to have a circle here, but we don't know what it's going to be like yet. So then we've got this. It's going to go up like that. That's why we can rule out E, because it's going down. Then we've got some lines. So here we've got one line, here we've got 1, 2, here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm guessing in this box we're going to have 3 lines like that. So we can rule out D because that's only 2. Now let's look at... So now we're deciding between B and C. So what the difference between B and C is this circle part here and the triangle inside the circle. So for this one, the answer to this one is B. The reason why it's B is because the triangle is here in this side. And the reason why it should be on this side is because... So let's look at the other 2 circles that are full. So in this one, the triangle's here in the top of the grid, and then it moves here. So as you can see, the line, it's joined to the line, and then, so this is the line. As you can see, there's a gap, and it would have been here. This is where the triangle is in the top circle. This bit I've just shaded in now. It would be there. So it's left this gap here. It's left like the space of one triangle, and it's formed the black triangle in here. So what I mean, so the triangle's here, it's left this gap, and then it's formed here in the bottom circle. So let's do the same for that here. So another circle, it's here, and then so it's here because as you can see it's like kind of in line with the line of the square. So let's just draw that. So then leave a gap, and then you would expect the new triangle to be here, which is where it is in B. C is almost the space of 2 triangles, you could say, so that's why it's not C. Now on to the next question. So as you can see here, all the grey shapes become white, and vice versa, and the white shapes become grey. So this semicircle, the main part of the shape, will become white because this square that was white became grey. This one that was grey became white. So this main semicircle will become white. So we can rule out C and D for that reason. So we know we'll have a white semicircle. Now we've got to look at how the shape will look. So this shape has rotated 90 degrees clockwise to form the shape. So this shape will also rotate 90 degrees clockwise. So it's going to end up looking like that. And as you can see, this is a straight, like, square shape that's joined to it, and then this one comes out at an angle. So when you've rotated the whole shape 90 degrees clockwise, the straight bit will be here and the diagonal one will be here like that. So that's why we can rule out B, because this side should be the straight bit and this side should be the diagonal bit, but it's the wrong way around here. Now we've got to determine how the semicircle on the inside will be. So here, so now we're looking at the inside shape. So here the square was like that, and then as you can see it's rotated to become like that. So this shape will also rotate sort of 45 degrees. So it'll become like that. And the inside bit, because all the colours go from grey to being white and vice versa, this inside semicircle will be grey, and so will like these rectangle bits at the bottom. So that's why the answer is E. Next question. So here, the L shape has reflected here. So this C shape will also reflect, and it'll end up looking like that. So that's why we can rule out C, because it's the wrong way around. Then we've got the circle and square are now the opposite way around. So before the circle was inside the square, then the square is now inside the circle. So here we have this rotated square with a hexagon on the inside. So now we'll have a hexagon, that's the bigger shape, with the square on the inside like that. So we can rule out B because that's the square with the hexagon on the inside, so wrong. Now we've got to decide which of the lines it is. So as you can see here, we went from having a thicker line to a thinner line. So we had a thick line here, so we're going to have a thin line here, so we can rule out A because that's another thick line. Then, as you can see here, because the C shape has reflected, here the ends of the C shape are quite far away from the end of the square. So here they're also going to be a bit of a gap between them. That's why the answer is D and not E. Because as you can see in E, the ends of the C shape are very close to the line when they're not supposed to be so close. There's supposed to be a bit of a gap in between them. So that's why the answer is D. Next question. So here, got some grey and white and different shapes and some striped lines. So to me it looks like in each row there is one grey and two white. Here we've got grey and white, and the same for the columns as well. So here we've already got two white, so that means this one must be grey, so we can rule out D and E. Then we've got to decide whether the shape on the inside will be striped, or whether the square will be striped or plain. So to me, so here are all the striped shapes, and they're in a cross in the centre, and these ones are non-striped. So I'm going to assume that this shape, the square here, will also be non-striped, so we can rule out B. Then we've got to decide whether the bigger square is going to be striped. Well, it is going to be striped, but which direction they're going in. So the stripes here going in this direction, same here, same here. So the stripes here will also be going in the same direction, so that's why the answer is C. They're going in that direction. In A they're going in the wrong direction, so A is not the answer and C is. Next question. So here we've got squares and circles and these other shapes on the inside. So here we've got square, and in the opposite, in the corner that's diagonal, we've also got a square. So here we have a circle, so I'm going to assume this is also going to be a circle. So we can rule out B because that's a square. Then let's look at some of the things. So here we have 3, here we have 4, and here we have 6. So I'm going to assume in this box we're going to have 5 shape circles on the inside. So we can rule out option C, as that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the rest have 5. Then now we've got to decide the how the black and white will be, on which side of the circle they'll be. So here, as you can see here, the triangles here have reflected here, but the shaded side, the black side of the triangles, has flipped. So here they were on the right side, sorry, and then here they're on the left side. So here you could say this is more on the top of the circle. So here they'll be on the bottom of the circle like that. So that's why the answer is D, because as you can see they're on the opposite side. Not A, because the black side is the same as it is in these shapes. And not E, because that's split in a different way. So the answer is D. Here we've got some pentagons and some triangles. So the pentagon has rotated 90 degrees clockwise. So the triangle will also rotate 90 degrees clockwise, and it'll end up looking like that. So we can rule out E. Also, here the lines and the inside pentagon were vertical, and although the pentagon rotated 90 degrees, the lines remain vertical. So here in the triangle they're horizontal. So on the inside triangle they will remain horizontal. So we can rule out A because they're vertical. Rule out B for the same reason. And now between C and D. So here the inside bit was white and then it became grey. So this is white, so the inside bit will become grey. So that's why the answer is C, because it's grey on the inside. So that's it.